Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Tuesday's Talk with Grada. And I'm in the middle of doing a mini series that stretches out over 6 weeks. So today is the third session where I help you decode what your body is trying to tell you by giving you symptoms of illness or pain, right? Our body, the different organs in our body all house certain emotions and repressed memories that we sooner or later have to deal with, and our body can't really tell the stories to us in words, right? So it often has to use pain to make us sit up and listen. And that's because the conscious mind, which is the one that I'm using now to talk to you, speaks a different language to the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is your immune system. It's the generator of the body. It regenerates your body. It's basically connected to your higher intelligence and all the rest. I won't go into it too much, as long as you know you have a subconscious mind that doesn't use the language of words. It uses the language of sensations, color, all your senses, pictures and pain as well, right? So we've already talked about your structure, your skeleton, and then last week I talked about potential meaning of headaches. If you're a headache sufferer, go back and look at last week's video. And then today I felt kind of inspired to talk about bladder issues, because bladder issues are a real thing, and there are lots of people who suffer from either incontinence, chronic cystitis, and then of course there is the topic of children who wet their beds, right? So the bedwetting at the start of life, and then as people get older, you'd be surprised, actually you could Google it, how many people struggle with incontinence, you know, towards the sunset side of life, right? As we get older, people start to lose control of their bladder as well, and many people end up back in nappies again, which is very strange when you think about it. So first of all, I want you to know that the bladder is the home of the emotions of fear, terror, so the worst kind of fear. So the kidneys also house fear, but the bladder houses really the worst kind of fear, and feeling petrified. So if you've ever had a big shock, or a really big shock, something jumps out at you. Sometimes people literally pee in their pants, right? So that's how I can demonstrate the truth of this. So the bladder houses fear and also despair, but normally we don't actually know that it's there. So if you suffer from any bladder issues, by the way, a good question to ask yourself is what am I fearful of, right? And how am I suppressing that in my body? And then also another emotion that's stuck in the bladder is literally feeling pissed off. So pissed off is of course under the umbrella of anger. So literally, is somebody pissing you off? Are you pissing yourself off? I know that's rude language, but I mean, this is what happens. So is there somebody, a loved one close to you that you can't get away from? Are you getting irritated, annoyed, hot under the collar? Maybe sometimes there is shame and humiliation, all those kind of hot feelings. If you repress them to keep, you know, everything looking good on the surface, and to keep your relationships going or keep your job going or whatever, your bladder is going to suffer. It's going to go into your bladder. Well, and then some people go, well, I don't have those issues, right? But then some people will pass those issues on to their beloved pet. So this is another topic for a different week one time. But lots of people have a cat or a dog and they love their pet. So very much I do, right? So it's also always really good to look at your pet, like what's going on with your pet. Because our animals who love us unconditionally, they will absolutely absorb all our repressions. And if we don't deal with them or work with them, and we don't bring them into our awareness, often the pets have to suffer and die. So some of my clients in the past had a little, a dog that had bladder issues, and then the dog actually died from bladder cancer, and then they got another dog and same thing happened again. And so my clients didn't believe the connection there, that it's actually their dog that's absorbing their vibes, their impressions. You could say darkness. Darkness is where the light doesn't shine. And the light comes from our awareness. It comes from our willingness to look and find the issues in our tissues. So that's the bladder. The bladder is very, very much to do with boundaries, of course. Because if you look in the wild, or if you don't have to look far, you just look at your dog or cat, but especially your dog, they have this instinct that they want to mark their territory, right? That's the first thing they'll do. They'll just urinate along their little boundary, and they'll keep urinating if there's no urine left, because they're saying, this is my tree, this is my garden, this is my plot. So our deepest boundary issues will show up as bladder issues. And so a boundary issue is when maybe you're too lenient, too tolerant, or you even have like gaps in your boundaries, so you don't have good, clear limits, like, or people tread all over you. You could be a doormat, or you could be a doormat around certain people or in certain situations, and then you're really showing up strong other times. So it's usually not so crystal clear, but boundary issues are very, very much to do with your bladder. And so if you have pain or in your pelvic area, it's good to see what happens. Just take every aspect of your life under the loop. Are you being ignored at work, or are you not being valued somewhere? Are you not valuing yourself? And you might just have to take some time reaffirming your boundaries. Now, people are not around you, are not going to like that. There is always a pushback, but you have to do this for yourself, right? In the end, having clear boundaries promotes true love that allows love to flourish. Whereas when you have unclear boundaries, whether it's with yourself, your children, your partner, or people at work, it doesn't really promote, a healthy love and friendship, because it's all like not clear. Literally, it's like creating a bladder infection. You look at your urine and it's all cloudy, right? It's not clear. So that's literally what happens. So so sometimes it just means you're too permissive. You're allowing other people into, maybe to take from you. Maybe you're getting taken advantage of. Maybe you don't even see it. So this is, and then bedwetting, I was going to talk about that as well. So bedwetting happens to a lot of children, aside from the fact that they shouldn't be drinking fruit juice, like apple and orange juice or any kind of fruit juice, can trigger bedwetting in children. When little children wet the bed, it usually comes from a very, very deep, dark place in the subconscious mind. And it's something that they can't talk about because they haven't got words for it. And so little Fergus, who's my youngest grandchild, we have lots of grandchildren. Fergus is the youngest one. He is 3, and his parents and brother and sister live in the back section of our house, and so we share the same laundry. So quite often recently I see Tom and Lucy wash their king size sheets, right? Because Fergie sleeps with his parents, in between his parents, all nice and snug in a big king size bed. And then just in the last probably half year, I think he wets the bed quite regularly. And I see it in him as well, because he's this funny mixture of like extreme bravery, and then he will flip to extreme fear as well. Now, Tom and Lucy are like super loving, doting parents, and they're very, very connected and peace loving. I mean, Fergus absolutely won the lottery with his parents, or he chose his parents for the right reason. And then his little brother and sister, they absolutely dote on Fergie. So Fergus is getting so much love and safety and security from everyone, including Peter, me. His other grandparents dote on him as well. He has a really, really good diet as well. So like all those external factors are taken care of, and yet he still wets the bed. Sometimes I hear him wake up at night and he has a bit of a nightmare. So I'm going to talk to Lucy to book him in with me one time, and we can see what's going on in his subconscious mind. But I already know that it's some sort of existential crisis, I call that. That children feel sometimes they're born with it, and it feels like a really, really deep, dark despair in their subconscious. It's so deep that they can't express it in words. Even an adult would have trouble expressing it. And then it just at night when they relax, it opens up a little bit, like a little crack appears, and some of this tension is being released from their body. Some of this darkness. It's like an nihilistic feeling. I don't even know how to describe it myself. But all that can be healed by a proper healer, by a good healer who, you know, is Sherlock Holmes as well. Rather than just covering it over or keep watching the sheets or whatever. There's something in this child, and it can, of course, it could be from a past life. Maybe he died suddenly in a previous lifetime. It was maybe there's something like that carrying over, or it could be from his ancestors, right? So either from Peter, me, or Lucy's side, or a combination of all of that. And basically what we're talking about is a ball of darkness, and it's so dark in that ball, the pocket of darkness, and so despairing that it has nowhere else to go other than in the bladder, the water system. And then sometimes when the child is asleep at night, it will release a little bit because the pressure builds up. And so that releases the tension. So, and I can relate to it because I have memories of my childhood from a long way back. And I remember I was very hard to toilet train. I remember sitting on my parents' couch back in those days, about 58 years ago, whatever, I'm 61. People didn't have a lot of money. My parents, I think they just bought a new couch or something, which was, of course, going to be their forever couch, like one that they would never replace because people just didn't replace their furniture. And I remember sitting on the corner of the couch and doing a wee, right? So I ruined it for my parents. And then I remember sort of getting punished, but not too harshly. Like I think my parents were distressed, and I remember that they put me on the floor and they put a nappy back on me, and I remember feeling the two of them were doing that, so that was already strange for me. And then and the humiliation of all of that. So my parents really struggled with me peeing around everywhere, but of course I came right eventually. Also though, I do remember having that existential despair and darkness inside my body that was sometimes almost too big for me as a little child, and I would just rock myself backwards and forwards, sucking my thumb and wanting to die. Right, so I had that sense that I just wanted to die, but I also knew if I died, that feeling wouldn't go away. So, and I'm talking about this freely because we all need to learn to talk about feelings of terror, sadness, grief, despair, rage, fury, suicidal urges, and so on, because they're part of who we are, and we didn't create ourselves like that. We came in with all that imprinted on us already, that wants to find an expression through us. And so over my life, of course, I've worked through my dark night of the soul. I've gone into the darkness. I was forced to go into it. I've spent many months, perhaps years, if I add it all up. I'm very comfortable with that place now. And so as a healer, that's really, really helpful that I can help other people who are experiencing those feelings of existential crisis, and I can see it in children as well. I can help them quickly. So this is just part of humanity. It's who we are, and all the parts that we deny and repress and pretend that they're not happening, they're just going to build up energy, and they either are going to explode in our bodies or in our relationships as well, and they make it difficult for other people and for ourselves to have deep connections. So there was something else that I wanted to say, but anyway, this is feel there was something important, but I'll just let it go. I want to show you, oh yeah, I just wanted to say that my children are very comfortable with me talking about how my darkness that I used to feel, and we have like lots of grandchildren, and sometimes one of my daughters will ring up and say, oh mom, such and such, this is one of my grandchildren, is lying in bed with the curtain shut and crying inconsolably, and she doesn't want to talk to anyone, right? And then they say, thank you mom for passing that down to your grandchildren. Anyway, so my children will actually allow their children to feel that, to go into those moods. Like if they want to keep the curtains shut, lie in the dark and cry inconsolably, they're not going to say, oh, why are you crying? Or look, cheer up, the sun is shining, all the things that we say. Like, we're going out for tea tonight, or just watch a movie, and we just pretend that it's not happening. No, we need our children, we need to honor those feelings. They're just as important as being bright and bubbly, right? So I want to do a practice now that's going to help your body with energy, right? So all our issues are always physical, emotional, mental, and energetic. And I find that when we work with the energy, we can literally go into all the layers easily, even into the unspoken layers, like all the energies that we inherited. There are no words to describe that information, but the energy can reach it. So let's just focus. Like, first of all, just put your hands on your bladder, which is just above your pubic bone. And then you can inhale gently and exhale. And just imagine your breath is reaching all the way into your bladder. And just see it as a beautiful, like, container or a bag that holds your urine. Urine is just purified blood, by the way. It's sterile and actually still full of goodness, believe it or not. So it's not toxic and it's not dirty. It's just sterilized blood. Alright, so now you bring your hands closer to where you can see them. And the information of your bladder has gone into your hands. And so now you can close your eyes and visualize a beautiful ball of energy between your hands. Because sometimes it might help you if you hold them together like this first, or some people go like this. But it helps if you close your eyes so you're fully aware of what's happening in your energy, and then you pull them apart till your body gives you a stop sign, so like here. And then you just visualize a beautiful ball of energy, pure healing energy. This is like universal energy, healing energy coming into your hands. And you can either visualize the color yellow or red. So red is more to do with strengthening your base chakra. Or if another color pops up in your intuition, just trust your intuition. And now you can make it like 100 times more potent. So you just close your eyes and say, I wish to make this universal energy of healing, of divine healing, 100 times more potent. And sometimes your hands will push out a bit, so you feel the strength of it. And then you bring it down and you gently push that ball into your bladder. So you can't see me do this, but just trust me. keeping your eyes closed. And then your intention is to clear, 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 clear. You can say that, or uncreate or release. Clearing is a nice word though, because you just say clear, clear, clear. Keep saying that for a minute or so. And as you're sitting there, you can say, clear out all the density, like the dense energy coming from my body, mind, spirit, soul. So release the density. You can go release, 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 release. And then as it's releasing, it's very, very important that you invite in the opposite energy. So you can say, I welcome in, or I invite in the energy of joy, confidence, safety, security. They're big ones for the bladder. Stability, clear boundaries, confidence, harmony, happiness, joy, cheerfulness, carefreeness. Just think of yourself as a child, being carefree, running around outside, being giddy with happiness. That's the energy you want to put back into your bladder, your whole water system. The energy of courage and determination and willpower can be another really good one. So then you just finish with resting your hands on your heart, and you can say thank you to yourself, or you can say I love myself unconditionally. You can say that a few times. And just allowing a little bit more energy to be infused into your body. And then when it all feels good, because the bladder loves it when everything is in order, right? Everything is in order, so you can remind yourself that everything is in order. Everything is going according to a divine plan, like the divine intelligence is at work. And that feeling of safety can also drop into your bladder, just reminding yourself that nothing needs to change. I don't need to change anything. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to turn myself inside out. I just need to sit here and be. I'm part of a greater order that's run by infinite intelligence. And this power and intelligence runs through me, and it directs every cell of my body, including my bladder. And if you feel any other little bits coming, you just say the word clear, clear, clear. Keep saying that. That's very clearing, right? And the good thing with healing work is it's mostly just clearing work, because what's underneath all the stresses and traumas and all the dense energy is unconditional love, because our true nature is unconditional love and light. So that's already there. We don't have to put it back in, so to speak. So let me know if any of this resonates with you when you work with your bladder and you do this practice. It helps you to relax more in life and to not be so controlling. So if we have bladder issues, that can also make us very controlling, because we're not safe. And people, by the way, only have control issues because something in their childhood was out of control at the time and it was an ongoing thing. So don't beat yourself up if you have control issues. It's all good. You're on the right path. So hope you enjoy this, and I will do 3 more sessions about different body symptoms, what your body is trying to tell you by giving you issues. And if you have any burning questions for me, please send me a message, a personal message, or put it in the comments, or send me an email. I'm really happy to work with you. Also come and see me in my room or over the phone. And I look forward to being with you again next week. Have a really great week, everyone. Big love from me. Bye, everyone.